get to Miss Petty because I'm going to explain this. Okay, so I told you that we're going to be meeting once a week, right? And so many kids, we all have, you're like my reading buddy. And what the purpose of this is to try to get you to read a lot so that you have somebody checking in on you, and to learn to read really with really good comprehension. Do you know what that means?
Like checking for understanding.
Oh, you sure do know how. So you had that last year, check for understanding. So when I ask you to read a little bit to me, I do want you to stop and check for understanding. How often do you think that would be good to do? What'd you do last year?
Last year I would read like about 2 or 3 pages, and I would stop and then go back to the first page and kind of just put a little summary in my head.
Oh, who taught you to do that?
Nobody.
Oh my gosh, that's very cool. Well, today we might do it just after like a page, just because we're kind of filming this a bit, trying to figure out how to do. So, first thing you want to do is get the title of your book. Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, the title of the book is Haddock's Scent.
Haddock's. Boy, I've never read these. I'm going to have fun with this, learning about all these good books. Haddock's, H-A, and tell me why you chose this book.
Because it seems interesting, and the cover and the picture just kind of draws me into the book.
Okay. And what type of book is this? Is this fiction or nonfiction? Do you know what that means?
Nonfiction is I kind of get confused with that.
I don't know. I always have to think about it.
Nonfiction is the stuff that could happen.
Nonfiction is really, it does happen. It's more informational things.
And fiction is like to make believe.
It is make believe. And I think one thing that I've noticed after talking with several students, there's a lot of realistic fiction, and it could happen, but it's really not factual. It's kind of made up to be interesting. But this, to me, and I'm just going to guess, this kind of looks, just from the cover, like fantasy. Do you know what fantasy is?
Yes, it's like sometimes it could have like animals talking.
Yes, it's things that really can't happen. But, so do you know what type of book this is?
And here we have, in our class, we have a library in the back, and it has these categories and books in them. And I got this one out of mysteries.
It's a mystery. Ooh, I love mysteries. I'm going to put that down. And we are going to we'll make a goal after we read a little bit and see how long we think it's going to take you to read this. We'll kind of set that goal too. So I want you to read a little bit for me, and I'm going to get you to stop and check for understanding and give me a little summary, okay? And then we'll talk a little bit about what makes a mystery, a fiction book like that after we finish that, okay? And if there are any vocabulary words that you see here that you kind of want to know about, or if there are any that you've had in your classroom. Have you been doing words of the week or anything?
Yes, we have. We have like Miss Carpenter puts posters and has all the words down, and there's like right now 5 posters.
Oh.
And she has all the words down there.
And do you have like a little word collector chart in your notebook? Do you have a place where you choose your own words and put in there, or not? I don't.
Not yet. She's gonna like give us one to take home for when we read at home.
Okay. Are there any words that you have tuned into like this week that you really have learned something about?
Not really.
Okay. Well, I'm going to be asking you every week about some. And so start when those that you go over in your classroom, when you know I'm going to say I'm going to come on Thursdays, which you probably think, oh, I better get a word from Miss Clayton that I've really studied and kind of tuned into. Okay? All right, so let's start, and then we'll stop and check for understanding and get a little bit of summary and set a goal for how long we think it's going to take you to get this book. Are you really, or is this chapter 1, or was there something before? Looks like there was something before chapter 1.
It was like a prologue.
Oh, you know, a prologue. I used to skip prologues because, I don't want to read that. Did you read the prologue?
Not in this one, but usually the other books I read, I read the prologue.
Yeah, they give you a lot of good information because they tell you, kind of set up what the author was trying to do. And I'm thinking that this prologue might have had something to do with book one, because this seems book two. Have you read book one?
Mm-mm.
Okay. So I don't know. This must be a series, so. Okay, let's start with chapter one then. And we're going to be thinking about setting and characters and all that stuff that you find in fiction books too. So we'll talk about. Okay, go ahead.
It was a rough landing. Light streamed past Jonah's face in unbearable glare. Some force that had to be more than just gravity tugged on him, threatening to pull him apart from Chip and Catherine from the
Yeah, I love it. You're figuring that that's a proper noun. So you just, when I have trouble with words like that, I just say Elsa Dater. That looks like Elsa Dater, or sometimes I just might say L. But I don't really know how to pronounce that, but that was good.
Dater, I think, is.
All right.
And the taser for his own self. The image that burned in his mind was of his body being split into individual cells, individual atoms, and then the image broke apart too. And he couldn't think, couldn't see, couldn't hear. He could only feel time passing through him, the time flipping back on itself, time pressing down, down, down. Then it was over. He lay in darkness, gasping for air. Dimly he heard JB's voice say, "Welcome to the 15th century. Good luck." But he couldn't quite make sense of the words. It was like hearing something underwater, sounds from another world.
Okay, let's stop and check for understanding, because I certainly don't know what's going on. But you might tell me what you think. What'd you just find out there? Or
So this may be the first page, but I'm thinking maybe this probably does take, maybe it is a fantasy and it takes place back then because it says the 15th century.
Wow, I was wondering if you caught that. That's a long time ago. You think he's going back in time?
He could be, because he